I ordered the new Fox DHX like 2 or 3 days ago, and check it out. It came in from Jensen, USA. So basically we're gonna go ride this for one day. The new Fox DHX. Gonna try to have fun with the videos, so there may be some typos. Even when Jensen's full price. I know money's tight right now, summer 2025. You gotta have some kind of brand loyalty, and they have awesome non-postal service shipping. So number one thing, we got an oily shock straight out of the box, just like the new Fox Float X2. There's a little bit of oil coming out of here. It's under warranty, we'll send it in. So fortunately, I'll be able to take this one apart because we have the standard seal head. I wasn't able to take apart the new Fox Float X2. So if you're a new viewer, welcome. 12.65 millimeter stanchion. I think that's the same stanchion as the Fox DHX. So here's the test, boys and girls. Damper activation pressure. So this doesn't tell the full story. Full story of the shock is like how supportive it is and how does it ride. And we want to give Fox the best chance possible to stack up against the EXT E-Storia. Okay, open counterclockwise, fully open rebounds. So the initial pressure right here, let's zoom in. She's about as stiff as the DHX. That's not a good thing. I mean, it's less small bump sensitivity. But remember, it's not the full story. Oh, she's a 50-pounder. Oh. So with a 50-pound damper activation pressure on the new Fox DHX2, it's very similar to the Fox DHX. But that is a little bit disappointing with the 50 pounds of damper activation force needed on this scale. Well, let's not judge it too quick because you actually got to ride your stuff. Can't rely on the dyno graph. The whole combination comes in at 2 pounds and 5 ounces. And if you're metric, I might calculate for that later on the screen. So the weight of, if you're gonna go air shock, we're at 1 pound and 10 ounces. Maybe I'll let you see it better. And if you wanna go coil, this is a pretty heavy damper. I don't care about weight, but you might. So 2 pounds and 10 ounces. It's almost a pound heavier to ride coil versus air. So if you do care about that stuff, but realistically, if you're riding a 50-pound e-bike with a 230 by 65 shock like we have here, you really should not be worried about weight. But that's also my opinion. Let's carry on. I didn't think that one through, did they? I've already taken the Fox Float X2. I've kind of disassembled this. It needs a new main seal head pin spanner to get inside of the damper. But I did partially disassemble the X2, so I'm kind of familiar with how this one works already. There's just no physical way. You've got to remove the rebound. Which, this makes it kind of a pain in the ass, to be honest. Because when you're trying to dial in your spring rate, like say you're just switching to coil shock curious. So this wasn't too big of a deal. It's just it's a 2.5 millimeter Allen key. She looks an awful lot like DVO, EXT, Olin's with this style piggyback. So let me show you why they switched to this piggyback. Hopefully I can zoom in. We can see how much substantially shorter the Fox DHX piggyback it is. It's for clearance issues because the Katsuma has an extraordinarily long piggyback that can make some interferement issues. It's one of my favorite words. Because all the serious people get mad when I make typos. So basically I spent a bunch of time on the new Fox Float X, so I know exactly how this damper works. So I know the high-speed compression is gonna be full locked on. And then low speed compression, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So recently it was brought to my attention that I'm too honest. I got the exact words of, you are too brutally honest. Give it a little bit of finesse. You know, don't say things suck. It sucks or it's amazing. There's no middle ground. Black and white. You can choose to make things black and white. That's just the way I am. So it's not super supple off the top, bro. But look at that Kitsuma. That's just supple off the top, bro. May not need that shock you can see right here. So the example is, this is literally my favorite car of all time. It's a 97 Toyota 4Runner, manual transmission, 4-wheel drive, 4-cylinder. It's like the only 4-wheel drive 4-cylinder I've ever seen. 4-cylinder means it's a good platform for tuning turbo. So if you have an old shock that's a good tuning platform, it might bring you more results or more satisfaction to tune up your old stuff. Like this thing has patina of a new 4Runner doesn't have. Like I have a hybrid SUV and I drive that thing and I'm like, it's fucking soulless. Right after I tell you it's my favorite car ever, I'm like, oh my gosh, stick shift in traffic is not fun. So maybe new stuff is the way to go, but we'll see today how that DHX goes. Forgot to film it with the big camera, so we're all action camera now. Does feel like a beefed up DHX2, maybe safe for the strut yoke bikes, but we'll have to see. Well, actually there's no strut here. So the viewers told me they don't like the 360 camera, so we're gonna try the DJI Action 5. All action cameras suck, they're like politicians. Just remember that. They all suck. Don't listen to the videos. Just pick the best of the worst, just like a politician. So the ground's a little bit wet, and that's exactly why you want to run a coil shock. So I guess I'm not hitting that jump today. So I think I'll go do the traction, turn this off, even though you can barely feel it. Warm up lap on the new DHX2. So it's definitely set up for like maximum control with the slower rebound. Well, let's try it in the roots. Yee! Gotta go to the bottom to hit the jump line. These are all kind of loamy trails, but I've definitely maybe oversprung, which is a good thing. Maybe we have to go down. The repair manual is not out for the new DHX2, so I can't check the internal floating piston air charge inside of it. So one reason like the RockShox feels super stiff and supportive and I have to like underspring it 50 pounds is the RockShox uses like 200 PSI in the piggyback. So I'm suspecting Fox went up to about 150 on this. The first impression of the new Fox DHX2 was absolutely disappointing. Do you remember the 50 pounds of damper activation pressure from the garage? Well, that translates into a pretty big compromise in the traction department. The previous generation Fox DHX2 was like the best shock I've ever rode in chunky trails. But these two shocks are kind of like polar opposite. The shock is literally 45 minutes out of the box at this time, and I do have to remember that. So that basically means you need to take your time and adjust some clickers. So my shock basically didn't feel good. So what this means is I want to turn the rebound slower. That's what my brain tells me, but I turned it faster and everything did start to get a little bit better. My favorite section of trail to test a damper is right here. A 3-foot hook to flat, so there's a root section and the shock can't recover before the next roots. So typically the damper will spike and you'll kind of go out of control. But the Fox DHX2 has some really good internal valves in it, so I know it's just a matter of hitting the right clicker. First impression of the shock. Doesn't have that super supple off the top feeling, so it just kind of gave me like a DHX vibe in my mouth. It was like, ugh. Spit that out. Just dropped that thing off at the post office on the way here. But after coming down the mountain, the shock's increasingly getting better and better and better. So I'm on this flow section, loamer section, and this thing felt outstanding. So what I'm gonna do is put the cameras away, enjoy a bike ride, catch you in the car and see if it gets better. Okay, I estimate I'm gonna need about half. I fully forgot to run my favorite section with the climb lever on, so I'm curious to see if it gets mo better. So the bottom line about the new DHX2 is like it can hold its own with the big boys. For that terrible audio, I was trying to keep that all same day first ride impression. It went from absolute terrible with the rebound too slow, move the rebound faster, and it was pretty good. So basically the new Fox DHX2 damper is pretty impressive. So I'm placing it on my coil shock ranking system, and I'm gonna place it right next to the 11.6 because unfortunately the 11.6 and the Fox DHX2 require custom shim stacks to get them correct. So let's stick on topic with the DHX2. You need one of three things if you're 220 pounds with this shock. You need to use the firm mode like I did to have a good day, custom valving, or a progressive spring. So it is a little bit disappointing when it comes to the bottom out control because there's no range on the high speed compression. So if you click this video here, you can see what makes a coil shock absolutely amazing.